It has now been over 1 month since my last harsh language drop. It's been a wild ride. Back in the early days of this season, world drops are very plentifully able to be farmed from the good old terminal overload running back and forth between the loading zone to loot the chest a bunch of times and getting heaps of world drops constantly. Each time you open up one of these chests, you get 2 world drops, which would result in a total of 8 drops per terminal overload run, but maybe less than that, because some of them were like the Neomuna weapons or whatever, those ones that you can't craft, and half the time it's bloody world armor anyway. Look, the numbers don't matter. The point is, it was the best way to get mass world drops until recently, when Bungie patched this beautiful farm and left me high and dry for the quote god roll on the harsh language. Now, I hear you shouting at me, what is this god roll you so desperately desire? Well, basically, just anything with repulsor brace on it, which is very good specifically for this season, exclusively because of the artifact perk volatile flow. I mean, it'll still be okay next season if you're on like a hunter, or I don't know, you're just really into getting volatile rounds from throwing a grenade or whatever. But right now, you can get volatile rounds immediately and forever on any subclass. It's almost like having just an extra perk on your grenade launcher. You got repulsor brace for a sick overshield, and then like, I don't know, wellspring or something for whatever that gives you, or envious assassin if you're into that sort of thing. And then on top of all of those, you have bloody chain reaction as well in the form of volatile rounds, but only for this season, which now has only a week left. So it's hardly even worth it at this point, except for that hunter thing I said. But that it just won't be the same. I mean, by then, like, Forbearance will be back to being the king of making a bunch of guys explode, and the bloody origin trait from that also gives you healing. So I mean, it's just not going to cut it, is it? This puts world drops in a really weird spot, because somehow farming these things is harder than farming raid weapons. For some reason, there's no way to focus worldly weapons right now, which I think was also the case for the first season of the Witch Queen thing, the season of the Risen. I think that only had the Dreaming City weapons, and there was no like worldly focus until Haunted, but there was always some way to sort of focus them with things like, you know, gunsmith materials, and even before that there was a weird engram you could buy from Rahul, which just gave you a world drop for 50 shards or something like that. Although I'm not sure about that one, that might have some weird world pull on it. I remember getting Dire Promise from that. I don't know what the hell that thing was about. But now both of those methods have disappeared into the ether with nothing left in its wake but sadness. All my gunsmith materials that I would constantly save up whenever I needed a world drop have just become useless and also gone. So I guess hopefully the worldly focus will come in next season. There's usually 1 or 2 pretty desirable weapons in the world pool. This season, it seems to be the aforementioned harsh language, formerly an arc blue grenade launcher and is now a void waveframe. And the other one I've heard people yapping on about is the battle scars with kinetic tremors. Now, I've never actually used kinetic tremors, so I don't really know how good that actually is, but people keep talking about it, so it must be something. But I do actually have one of these, so maybe, you know, if this was something I cared about, that'd be good. I mean, I've never used it, but, you know, I've got it. If you dig back through the archives, you can find plenty of old good world drops. A few that came to my mind and that I still maybe have are Staccato and the Stasis one. Very good during Season of the Haunted, where there was a bug with explosive payload and shoot to loot, where if you shot the heavy brick with shoot to loot and explosive payload, it would like hit it twice and you'd get more ammo. And I farmed the absolute fucking shit out of that, and I never got one when it was bugged and doing that. That was very, 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 very upsetting. Cartesian coordinate, a fusion rifle, rapid fire, so it's good. This thing's still really good right now. Funnel web, also really good right now because of the volatile rounds thing. Going back even further, there was like first in, last out from the bloody double slug days. The Dire Promise, which I think was a world drop. Truth Teller, another void grenade launcher. Main ingredient, which is still a good PvP weapon, and I don't even know where it comes from nowadays. Is it like exclusively from Xur? I don't even know. And if you really want to get all the way back to the Forsaken days, we've got the bloody Dustrock Blues. I remember farming that from Lost Sectors. Probably the best PvP shotgun of its time. I remember farming the absolute shit out of this little sucker. And I'm sure there's plenty of others. But somehow, they're now harder to get than raid weapons and most of the craftable seasonal weapons. And look, I'm just very upset about not getting this dumb roll while it was really good. Just leave me alone. alone and shut up, alright? And could you please leave a comment of your favorite world drop, please, guys? That'd be sick. Alright, that's plenty. I'm going now.